Hey everybody, it's Justin, host of Plank Session. Today I'm planking with the one and only Casey Zeman, founder of Easy Webinar. From the first time I met Casey, he had an instant impact on me, and from a short conversation, I became a better leader because of him. Let's get started with the plank. Casey, you look like you've done this before, man. I'm ready, dude.
It's been a while. Since the kids have come home, I haven't been able to get on these machines as often, but you know, I'm excited, dude.
Let's do it, man.
All right.
Plank session.
Plank session.
Oh, so Casey.
Yeah.
Somebody was asking me about you today. They're like, so you're interviewing Casey Zeman, tell me about him. And I told him, I said, you know what? Have you ever seen the Dos Equis guy? He's the most interesting guy on earth.
That's ridiculous.
When I first met you, I knew you were a savvy business strategist. Mm-hmm. Then I found out that you were an opera singer. You got 3 great kids. You have a twin.
Yeah.
Where does this come from? Was it innate, or did you have to learn motivation?
I think every day I'm just trying to be the best I can be. Man, I think when I was a kid, I was kind of like a jerk. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't a nice, I wasn't a nice kid, and then so I had to get better at being like that. How you feeling?
I love this machine.
I mean, you know what? It's like 1 a.m. for you, dude.
No, it's all good.
It's like 1 a.m. Here, we can pike to plank, dude.
Yeah, let's do it.
Pike up like this.
Pike to plank. I love this Pilates machine.
There we go.
I'm gonna put you on the spot while we're planking. You used to be an opera singer. You're the coolest opera singer I know. While you're planking, could you give me a tune?
Dude, while I'm planking, let's see. Like opera?
Yeah, man. I want
you know, like when I say I learned opera, that was a long time ago, and then I went into other stuff. Let's see. What can I do here? Nessun dorma, Cu fuio principessa nella tor fredda. No, I mean, it's impossible for me. That's a fake Italian, dude. Like, no. I forgot the actual Italian of Nessun Dorma, so you got to cut all that shit out. No, I'm just kidding.
That was awesome. It was so good, I stopped planking.
Is that what it was?
Oh my gosh, this machine is crazy. I realized that you're a Midwest guy. You're living on the West Coast now.
Yeah, been here 15 years, I think, something like that.
Yeah, what is the biggest cultural difference you see from living in the Midwest to living out here in Cali?
People are like separatists out here, man. Like, people have their own lives and they're like doing their own thing, and they're not communicating a lot with other people. Like Midwest, you could like just say hi to random people down the street. You could just walk. I just don't feel that oftentimes here. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's what the difference between a big city and Midwest. I think Midwest people are more like, you know, genuinely interested in what you're going through, what's happening. I don't know. That's the biggest thing, I think. But that's why I love trying like transplants. People that are from the Midwest that come here, because they still have that.
And 3, 2, 1, bam. We're good, man. That was impressive, dude. That was crazy. I mean, well done.
That was it.
Yeah.
That's why, you know.
Oh my gosh, I'm cramping up.
It's good, right?
I need some electrolytes.
Yeah, you need something, yes. Yes, man.
I want one of these machines.
Oh, they're great. Yeah, this is like, but you had a higher spring too, by the way, but you're taller, but it's not easy, man.
I need to hire something, because that was serious, man.
Is that real?
I mean, this is awesome. I've never felt my core like that. And then that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So Casey, one of the things when I first met you that intrigued me was you had 3 kids, I have 3 kids, but then I found out that you adopted 2 kids from Haiti.
Yeah. And
that showed me how big your heart is. Can you talk to me about the process of how you and your wife decided that you were going to go the route of adoption?
Yeah, I give that up to my wife, 100%. It was never really on my radar, but my wife has always wanted to adopt. Mm-hmm. She's, that was always her first choice. It wasn't about, you know, we didn't have fertility issues. It was more just like, there are needy children, there are kids that are starving in the world, and if there are kids that don't have parents out there, why aren't we bringing them into our homes? Yeah. So that was her idea. Me, it wasn't really on my radar. I was the guy who was like, you know, I want to look at my child and be able to see me, or, you know, like a feature, or like, oh, I see my eye, you know, like that was me. I was open to it, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't on my radar, but I wasn't closed off to it. And so I was open to it. And that was really the sort of the gateway, right? I got my foot in the door of like, of seeing that adoption was possible. I was open to it.
Yeah.
I love my wife, and it was so something she wanted to do that I was just open to it. And once you're open to it, it like you realize like you stretch what is possible in your own self. So it was always something she wanted to do. And then I think I was telling you this. For me, I had to create a narrative in my brain about like, well, if we're going to do this, I want to adopt children that have almost like that have nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was like the narrative I had to create back in the day, so I could be like, I'm the hero that's going to be coming in and adopting children that, you know, that need to be saved.
Yeah.
But after going through the process and meeting my kids and just connecting with the children in this orphanage and all the kids, and then my children, the narrative was completely flipped.
Yeah.
The script was flipped.
Right.
Because it was like not about me being a hero. It was like they fed me. Their love fed me. You know what
awesome,
I mean?
man. Yeah,
and so
absolutely.
it was like But again, as I said, I was just being truthful. It was not on my radar. It was always on my wife's radar.
Yeah.
But after going there like 15 times, going back and forth to Haiti 15 times, we just fell in love with Haiti, and all the children there, and it was just like so sad to see what was happening there.
Yeah.
And at the same time, just like trying to get our kids back because it was just taking forever. But,
yeah. I remember talking to you a couple of days ago, and we were talking about how passionate we are about entrepreneurship, but then how we have to look for entrepreneurs who have entrepreneurship on their radar.
Right.
And I'm sure you going to Haiti, you realize that opportunities aren't equally distributed.
No,
how, as leaders and entrepreneurs, can we give more opportunities to kids that are in Haiti, or maybe that are at an economic disadvantage in America?
I think that there has to be more stories around entrepreneurship that get in front of those, get in front of more people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, those stories have to be represented in those cultures.
Yeah.
And they're not. You know, they're not right now. Or not enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the more there can be places where they can learn, where people can say, okay, so that's what's possible. So I understand that's what's possible. So being an entrepreneur is possible, right? And we talked about this, the narrative that it was like going to college, right? And that was like, if I could send my kids to college and have a better life than me, that was the narrative. But now kind of that's changed, because now all those people went to college, their kids now, you know, what's the narrative for them, right? So it could be entrepreneurship, but there's no, I just find that there's, I mean, you were talking about this, that there's no source. So I feel like the source just has to be more available. You know, and for instance, if you think about like how in TV there are people that changed the framework of how we see different people and different different roles of where people are working, for instance, black women as doctors wasn't necessarily something that we saw a lot until we saw Grey's Anatomy and then some other shows, and then seeing that opened up the possibility for those young black girls who were growing up saying that's possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before that, but before something like that happens, it's not. Someone has to break their own barriers. Someone has to do that on their own.
Right.
Right. But if you could have some way for them to for anybody to say, oh, this is possible, and see it's possible.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I'm like, a show somehow bringing that, you know, bringing that message is very powerful.
Absolutely.
It just needs to be taught. It needs to be confronted. It needs to be out there. It needs to be available.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with your kids because they have an awesome dad. And that leads me to my next question.
Yeah.
Is that there are no inevitabilities or predeterminants when it comes to what a child's going to become.
Right.
Whenever I see a leader like a Barack Obama or some kid that I see is very talented, I think, okay, who are his parents?
Right.
And it's been my experience that the leaders I've seen either had a strong father figure in their life or a lack thereof. And they were forced to come up with their own wisdom and figure it out themselves.
Right.
So I want to ask you about your dad. What was your relationship with your dad and what did he teach you?
My dad, you know, it's interesting. My dad is a nurturer. He was a nurturer. And he always believed in anything me and my brother or our sister wanted to do. He was like 100% in full support of whatever it was or is. And because he cares so much, that nurture has passed through. That's what my kids just, the thing I want them to know is that I love them and they can do anything in this world, right?
That's awesome.
Like that's, and I tell them that every single day, like they have to feel that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's like,
absolutely.
So my dad, he's a great guy. I mean, he's like, and even now, I mean, he's always just been like, always there. He's the guy you can call, and he's just got, you know, he listens, and so he's a good father figure, definitely a good father figure. But I've also had, you know, a stepdad in my life, and other guys. My stepdad died when I was 25.
Okay.
But he was a good guy. He was also a good guy. So I've always had good men who were nurturers, I think, you know?
Yeah.
Like they were loving men, you know?
Yep.
And I think that, you know, that's another thing. So I don't have any problem expressing my love to my kids.
Yep.
And helping them to feel that love and be able to express their love, you know what I mean?
That's great. Dads,
So-
kiss your kids.
Kiss your children.
children.
Sing to your children. Kiss your children. Tell them you love them.
Yep. That's
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
So Casey, in your business, I
Yeah.
would predict that if you weren't impactful and efficient in front of the camera, it wouldn't have worked. In my experience of you, from the first day I met you, is that you're a master communicator. And in today's age, with online communities and growing business,
Yeah.
you have to be a good communicator in front of the camera. Are there 3 pieces of advice you can give dads out there that are entrepreneurs on how to be master communicators?
I think figure out the problem you're solving, be authentic about it, and well, that's 2. And get and truly know how to solve that problem. Not just know what the problem is, but know how to solve it.
Yep.
At least solve it from the knowledge and experience you have. Don't try to act like you have exponentially more knowledge than you do have.
Yeah.
Just realize that the level of knowledge, if you are there to solve a problem for somebody, you probably have enough or can source, you know, where they can get more knowledge around whatever problem they have. But just be authentic, know the problem that your audience has and how to solve it in your own way to get results for them.
Awesome.
I mean, that's what I mean, people, there's only 2 things that people care about when you're trying to convey a message to them and connect with them and sell a product or service or whatever: sincerity and value. And so as a dad entrepreneur, express who you are as that dad, you know, show that sincerity, that authenticity, and then, as I said, the value. Like, you have to have some sort of value that you're bringing. And oftentimes we rack our brains like, what's that value? But normally it's instinctive.
Yeah.
You have instinctive value in you, and that's why you've created such an amazing show. You're creating such like an authentic following.
Yeah.
Like these are things that we have inside us already. It's not like we have to like make up of some bit of value.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's like, I think it's authenticity, know the problem, provide value, and then also, I know you said only 3, and I'm ranting
okay,
now,
man.
but
Keep
like
going.
also value yourself.
Yeah.
Like value who you are and what you bring to the table, and that you are enough. You know, the knowledge you have is enough. That's what I was saying before. It's like, you know, a lot of people think that the knowledge they have is not enough, and therefore they blow out and say, oh, I can do this, I can do that. But no, just realize that the thing that you have inside you is enough. Like the value that you have enough value inside you already. And I think a lot of people don't think that. And that's why they never jump into a business, because they are scared about it. They think they can't bring enough value to the marketplace. So it's like, I want to like take that narrative and like literally like blow it up, because that's not accurate.
I've been on social media now for probably 6 months.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks they're a motivational speaker, or they have, you know, some amount of wisdom to give, and everybody does have a voice.
Yeah.
But I've been around you enough to know that you're real and authentic. But then the post you have about self-doubt and how to overcome that is unbelievable, man. So I just wanted to acknowledge you and say keep it up, because it's really encouraged me.
Thank you.
Another thing in our conversation we had is I think a lot of times I see business owners, they struggle because they're trying to figure out, how do I do this? How do I do this?
Yeah.
And you were an actor, a creative. You had some business sense, but then you developed a software. And what I heard you say is you didn't find out how, you found who when it came to developing your software. Would you say that's accurate, that sometimes you have to, there's a skill in trying to find the right people to connect the dots? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like you have to trust the journey and just be on the journey, because like I had all these goals when I was first starting out, and I'm like, and when you reach a milestone, you still don't realize you reached that milestone sometimes.
Yeah,
like it's just like, it's not like oh man, I reached it and I can go on the beach and chill out now. No, you don't really, that's not how it works. But yeah, every time, you know, like as I said, I was an actor, but then I didn't like being a broke actor, so I went to real estate. I didn't like what I was doing in real estate. The market crashed, and so I went from a job where I was making 6 figures to like literally 15,000 the next year, and almost went into foreclosure twice. And so I had to figure something out. So I went online to learn about online marketing. I had a friend who was doing online marketing, and I was like, so how do you do all this stuff? And today we're good friends to this day. His name is Chris Farrell, and he explained to me how this stuff all worked, and I was like, what? And so that led me down the road of learning about online marketing. And you know, he gave me some piece of advice, like get good at one thing, get into one thing, and just be an expert, a master at it, and then go from there. And so I let YouTube be that one thing for me.
Got it right.
But then, so you have to take these steps. So when I started, I was a consultant. I did YouTube consulting because I started learning about it. But then I had the vision for wanting to create an online course. And so I spent the next 6 months building a course out. I let the consulting fuel and allow me to actually generate enough revenue, you know, from like 4 clients paying me maybe, you know, $1,500 to $2,000 a month or something like that, right? Because I still had to pay my house and stuff. I didn't have kids yet, but I was like, all right, consulting, moved into building a course for 6 months, you know, and then when I finally built my course, I was like, well, how do I sell it? You know? So then I had to go through another bit of like, it's that stretch, you know, it's like you have to learn something, apply it, right? And see the failures and maybe the little wins, and see what that little win is, and actually latch on to that little win and be like, okay, how can I do this again and again? And so that's what I did when I started with webinars. Webinars was that little win for selling my course. And I was terrible at webinars when I first started out, but that was how I was able to finally sell. And then after I, you know, was making money, I was, you know, I made, as I said, like 250,000 in online sales of my course in 2012 or something like that. My next year, I was like, I didn't want to stop. So I had the vision of now creating a software,
Okay.
right? And so that's when I found developers who would do that for me.
Gotcha.
So I built a partnership around that. I know I got there in a long way, but
it's perfect.
Yes, you need to sometimes, the dots aren't always going to show up, and you don't know where they're coming from sometimes, but the dots, like success is obviously not a straight line. But sometimes you have to fill in those dots with other people. Like now for me, with 3 kids, my time is very limited. I don't work as much.
Yeah.
But when I do work, it's very, very like, this is the time, and this is what I have to get done, right? And then I have a team, and I rely a lot on the people that support, that are on my team, because we have a big vision. So, they have to, so that's what it is. My team has ownership to have success,
Great.
And so now that's like, we're all working together. So you just can't, it's a one-man army is not easy.
Yeah, it's tough.
So we need support. So it's like, yeah. So that was, for me, there was always support, because I would bring it in, I would invest in it. Even when I didn't have the money, I was investing in just learning, supporting, learning, applying, okay, hiring, learning, applying, hiring, learning, applying, and the gap of revenue to expense, it widened so I could have more revenue. You know what I mean?
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So I have to mention this before we end, is whenever I talk to you, tell me if I'm wrong, but you encourage people to add as much value as possible and even charge more. And I think that oftentimes, and we would agree, I hope, that a lot of times entrepreneurs don't see the value that they're giving to their customers, so they'll price their products too low. Can you talk on that, Casey?
Yeah. Well, I get a lot of people that ask me this, like whether they are product creators who have a product for like $200, $300, or people that are just starting out, like transitioning from a service business.
Yeah.
They're like, really? Can I really be charging this? The thing is, like, I have videos that encourage all about this, like videos where I'm saying like fire your clients, and things like that. But the whole idea is that you need to value yourself and the knowledge you have. Oftentimes when you're coming from a job, and you're coming into the marketplace as a freelancer, a lot of these people, they'll charge way little, because they don't realize that, they don't think about their own value, because they're still in the mindset of when they were providing value for somebody else.
Yeah.
Not now having to do it on their own, so they undercut. Whereas what they should be doing is looking, instead of at hourly, they should be looking at like projects, right? And what can I accomplish? What's the outcome I can achieve for somebody? It's because you may have results that you got for people that worked for you when you were working at a different company. Those results can transition to when you start to do stuff on your own, when you become a freelancer. So it's really about the results. So yes, I always encourage people to charge higher prices, but you have to back it up with something, and the backing up has to be a result.
Yep.
But it doesn't always have to be a monetary result, right?
Yeah.
It can be like if you help someone get fit, lose weight, find a spouse, change their life. There's no price on that.
Yeah.
So technically you could charge whatever.
Great
for something
information.
like that. So I think people, they devalue themselves to try to undercut a market, when what that does is that puts you in a scarcity mindset, and you overpromise, you underdeliver, and you just get into a place where you're not happy.
Yeah.
And you burn out and you fizzle out. So instead of that, I encourage people to look at what they can get as a result for somebody, charge based on that result, and set up an expectation for when you're working with a client or when you're selling courses and stuff like that, of like what they're going to be able to achieve.
Yeah.
And what your commitment is to them.
Yeah. Awesome.
And that's the other thing.
Yeah. So last two things. When I first met you, I was really impressed. And the third thing that really impressed me was we were in a meeting and you mentioned how you were going to take singing lessons.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this guy's a business guy, he's got a family, but he's taking time to pour into the things that makes his heart sing.
Yeah.
Do you think that's important as a man, dad, business owner?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Like, most of my time is devoted to my kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, work, kids, wife, it's family. But I feel that we need to feed whatever is going to, we have our own internal coffers of need and creativity, and if we don't have that, we can't be the best dads, we can't be the best people, can't be the best men. And so I feel really strongly that it's important for us to be able to have our creative outlets, whatever that may be. You know what I mean? For me, it was acting and singing. So me going in and being able to go and sing, and like just even doing voice lessons or working on a song, And the whole idea of working on a song is because I started singing for my kids more, and it's like I'm always singing for them. So I'm like, why am I not doing voice lessons, and just doing this? And then if I can write this song, I can sing it to them. And so it's like I have reasons. It feeds me, but it's like I see my kids light up when I sing, because they just get joy out of it, and then they sing, So I'm like, I just want to bring that, and that makes me feel just more of a whole, more whole as a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So I'm having a great time. This is a torture device.
Yes.
And you smoked me. So thanks to Fit Mix Studio. Thanks to you, brother.
Of course.
And to close this out, because you beat me, can we get 10 plank to pike?
Yes.
Let's get 10
Dude,
right
if
now.
this is your first time on one of these machines, you did great.
Thanks,
I'm just saying, man, these are not easy.
There's no excuses, man.
And I gave him an extra spring. So
Hey, we're gonna do this again, all right?
All right.
Let's end it right there.
Let's do it. Ready? Pike. That's it. Up. Oh, yeah. Now what we should do here, go slow.
Yep.
Push up, pike.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Push up. Yeah, there, pike. Oh, yeah. That's it.
You're in good shape, brother.
You can do this. I don't know, man, if you want to do that, don't fall off. Oh, yeah, that's it. That's it, don't fall back.
I'm gonna get one of these, man. I'm gonna make one in my basement.
I mean, it's a good workout. You can do this, you do this when you work out.